What's up, guys? It's your tour guide here, and hope you guys had a fantastic week. I know I today's the last day of my certification course, and I mean, I think um, I got all my assignments were passed. I did my last um, practice session today, and for the most part, I passed all those. So I've pretty much met all the requirements to get the certification. So ultimately, it comes down to like an assessor kind of reviewing everything, making sure that you know that the instructors were doing their job and that the stuff I submitted was up to standard. So it's sort of like a second layer of checks, but assuming that goes well, yeah, I um, was able to pass this course and get certified for um, some language uh, teaching. So really, really happy about that. It was a lot of work. Um, obviously, you didn't see very many posts from me this week. It's just I was just kind of caught up in trying to complete all the coursework. Um, so it was a busy last week of just writing papers, preparing lessons, and doing all that. So it's all over now. It's done. There's nothing I have to do now except um, kind of check. They're going to send notification, the official notification that I passed the course, and then they're going to mail me the certificate and all that. So yeah, um, that was the big thing that happened this month. It was a month of courses, and yeah, I feel good about it. Obviously, I'm not going to use the certificate right away, um, but this gives me the option now. If I do end up going back to Japan, I've got with the certificate, I've got a lot of options. First off, I'll pretty much be able to get a teaching job anywhere in Japan, whether it's in like competitive Tokyo or whether it's sort of in the outlying areas, because the certificate holds a far advantage over some of the less qualified people they bring in, the foreigners they bring in to teach. So, um, yeah, it gives me a bit of not only more opportunities, but better, higher salary opportunities. Now, Japan is kind of undergoing a backlash against immigration. And kind of have to see how it all pans out. Now, a lot of it is just targeted at tourism, but the tourism people come and visit, and then you have all these like there's people who want to like experience and live in Japan. So you have a lot of people trying to get into the country on work visas, and um, Japan does have a sort of an imbalance in terms of workforce, with birth rates declining. They're just the, the as people get older, you just don't have enough young people to fill in the gaps for that economy. So they've got a labor shortage. They've got ever declining birth rates, and so the government is really pushing to fill that gap, that labor gap with immigrant labor, but it's just I don't know. I think a lot of thinking it's more of a political issue than it's actually a real issue. But yeah, a lot of foreigners come in there and they just disrupt life for Japanese, and I understand that. It's like if I'm Japanese and I'm seeing all these foreigners invade my town and make a mess and don't respect the local customs, can't even speak Japanese, and they're kind of just taking advantage of the country, right, for their own, for their own experience and pleasure. It just, you know, it doesn't sit well. So I understand the sentiment. Um, so it's a very different dynamic from when I was there. When I was there, nobody really spoke out against. There's always a large foreign kind of expat presence in Japan, but these days, both tourism and immigration, people going there to work, have been really kind of hot issues, mainly because a lot of Chinese people have come, invested in land and property there, and they kind of make residency there, and they cause issues. They don't respect the local customs, and yeah, you've seen a large influx of mostly Chinese. They're not really working. They're just kind of like these elite people with money who buy houses and just kind of live there as tourists, like just a bunch of rich um, residents from China, and they're kind of the worst kinds of people. They demand things and they're not very respectful. So these people have been kind of high profile cases on social media, but then the sentiment just kind of it's sort of targeted all foreigners, unfortunately, including you know Americans. There's a lot of anti-Semitism in Japan because of the war and the genocide on the Palestinians, and yeah, it's not. I would not be comfortable if I was a foreigner right there working right now. Now it is again a political issue. It's not like your everyday Japanese person is going to be like, you know, attacking foreigners and doing things of that nature. But it is interesting to know you're not welcome. It's like there's a difference between kind of uh, not being attacked, but also feeling like, oh man, people really don't want me here. Luckily, I don't have that problem. I blend in really well. People have no idea that I'm not Japanese till I open my mouth. But I would imagine my American friends whom I met during my stay there, they're probably feeling some of the heat. Um, some of them are still teaching there, and so I think it goes a long way if you can speak the local language, communicate in Japanese, which fortunately I can do to a certain degree. But yeah, if you have zero Japanese and you're just going around, asking for a translator or just blabbing in English, they're not going to take well to that. And yeah, hopefully you have more sense to if you're living there than to just kind of think you can get by on English. But yeah, I digress. We're here for the weekly top 10, and man, has it been I've been really excited to get on this show because I just feel like with all the work and stuff I've been putting in, even though I've been going on, like I read comic books on Monday and I went on last Friday. Um, I just haven't had proper time to like. It just was more of like a weight on my shoulders doing it rather than just like I could truly like take this time to like relax and chill out and just forget about stuff, which is the reason why I do. It's like when you have something like you have work to do and homework and all and assignments and stuff to turn in, it's hard to enjoy this sort of me time. But yeah, this week, now that the course finished today, I just feel like this is my me time and I'm happy to be here with you guys. So, uh, before we get started, I do want to send a shout out to my man down in Vancouver, Washington, Big B. He and I are getting together this weekend, actually, on Sunday, and we're going to be trading books. So I have a roughly, I want to say 100, maybe 180 books. And I have all the values kind of calculated. It's well over like $1,000 in terms of trade value on my end. I doubt Big B's gonna have that in terms of value on from from his side. Um, but then again, who knows? I did ask him to bring more Silver Age books, so hopefully, he's able. I mean, he mentioned he's going to bring some signed Alex Ross slabs. I guess those are some high valued books there. So, if worse comes to worse, I'm sure we'll be able to meet in the middle somewhere. Maybe, I take out a couple books or something, and we go there. But for all intents and purposes, I do want to just give him the 180 books I'm taking down there. I just want to just, hey, take it. So if I can get, a good fair amount of the value, I don't mind taking a hit a little bit. But yeah, should be a fun time. And we have one more comic book community member joining us, Aaron from Psychotronic Squirt Gun. Really interesting channel name. Psychotronic Squirt Gun is going to be joining us as well. Now, he kind of committed late. In fact, he committed, I think, earlier this afternoon. He's like, "Hey, I'd like to just say hi to you guys, hang out. I think we're gonna all grab lunch together, so that'll be cool to just hang out, talk comic books." But in terms of, we'll see. I mean, because if I did tell him, "Hey, we're doing a trade," and that he should bring Silver Age DC stuff, and of course, he's all about Bronze Age, Marvel stuff. That's his sort of wheelhouse. Now I don't have too much of that, and the majority of what I have is probably going to go to Biggie. But again, if Biggie and I can't make the trade work in terms of value, there's some wiggle room there for Aaron to maybe step in and take some books as well. Because again, these two guys, they want mostly Marvel stuff, right? X-Men, Spider-Man stuff. And Aaron is, a lot of this stuff mine is X-Men, Spider-Man. So Aaron kind of wants that too. But I did promise it to Biggie. So it's Biggie's for the most part, but whatever's kind of, whatever spills over in terms of value, hopefully Aaron can step in and do. But Aaron kind of made it sound like he's just going to stop by and say hi, and then he's going to go off and do other things. So I don't anticipate him to actually take part in the trade. Hopefully he does prepare some books and comes ready to trade, but I'm not banking on it. In fact, he the way he made it sound, he's like he's got a lot of books. He's really, that focused on trading per se, but yeah, again, I'm sure he doesn't mind giving up some DC stuff for Marvel. Just he had to prepare the books and bring them. Otherwise, we're just going to be eating hamburgers or doing something together. But it should be a fun weekend. So stay tuned for the update. I'll try to maybe take some video of us all together, and we can I can share it here, or I'll share it on the short or something, and we can go from there. All right. It was a big comic book news week. It was a big news week just in general. You know, we're at war with Iran, and there seems to be a lot of opposition to what we're doing. And yeah, I'm hoping we can reach some kind of situation where innocent civilians aren't the victims, right? Don't become victims of war. But I think we're kind of past that point now. It looks like the longer this drags on, it's just gonna not bode well for the Iranian people. We also had the World Baseball Classic start. South Korea got off to a very good start. Japan, Shohei Ohtani, I mean, it's they're the defending world champions. USA had a really good start against Great Britain. Who knew Great Britain had a baseball team, but apparently they do. US, I have a complaint. I mean, US is in a really kind of weak group compared to like the Asian group. The Asian group, I feel like, is like, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like you're gonna have America. Why aren't they going up against Cuba? It's like, why would you put America and Cuba in like a different group? It's like same hemisphere. Literally, Cuba's like 40 miles off the coast of Florida. Essentially, it's like it's like in our backyard. So I don't understand like why you wouldn't have like the Dominican Republic and Cuba in the same group as the U.S. Anyway, you got really the two strong Latin American teams, or I should say three strong, right? You've got Dominican Republic, Cuba. I think the Venezuelans are over there too. So it's like U.S. doesn't have to face any of those difficult teams. It's like they're going up against Great Britain and Mexico, and it's like Ecuador or something. It's just some ridiculous, nonsensical. Hey, MLB doesn't want to embarrass Team USA, so we obviously need Team USA there in the end for it to be exciting and generate a lot of history and eyes on the match. But yeah, let's just give the US an easy path, and they are stacked this year. They've got like a Cy Young award-winning starting staff, pitching staff. I think their number 8 hitter is like Bryce Harper. He's like number 8 on. I mean, it's It's a ridiculously stacked team. I can't really, it's theirs to lose essentially. US ain't playing around this season, so it should be a fun tournament. All right, let's get to the books now. Number 10 on the list. Again, we're starting off with some Boba Fett fire. Now, Tamura Morrison, you'll know him from the original trilogy. He played Jango Fett. And Tamura also played Boba Fett in the Book of Boba Fett season 1. And I remember when this series came on, I was excited because I was like, first off, let's just go back in time to when the 90s are here. Mind you, 90s was just post Jedi era. Return of the Jedi hit theaters in like 1983. And essentially, there was nothing Star Wars related from 1983 up until 99, 98 or 99. And you had this huge vacuum of Star Wars content. And just had people watching Star Wars over and over and over again on VHS, eventually on DVD. I mean, it was that long. You just had this like gap. And all the while you had this sort of underground, I shouldn't say underground, but you had fans reading these novels, these sort of licensed novels on what happens after. And these novels led to comic book adaptations like The Dark Empire. And these were kind of officially kind of licensed stories, but they were not technically canon. Right? They were just kind of imaginative, like, oh, here's a cool Star Wars novel written by somebody. George Lucas said, hey, yeah, go ahead, use a Star Wars little novel, but it's not canon. It's not going to be part of this universe. So you have all these like Star Wars novels. A lot of them revolved around Boba Fett and the Bounty Hunters and all that, because that's what Star Wars fans wanted to see. They wanted to see more Boba Fett. They wanted to know the origin story of this guy. They wanted to know how he came to, be up until the Empire series. So yeah, everybody's a big Boba Fett fan. So this book here represents Boba Fett's first solo series. It's his first solo series. I think a lot of people have slept on this book, and they've also, I feel like Boba Fett's just been kind of replaced by the Mandalorian. And I don't feel that's right. And I don't know if the Book of Boba Fett had anything to do with it. Maybe people thought the Book of Boba Fett kind of closed a chapter on this character. We don't really need to know much more, but people forget, like, Clone Wars, Boba Fett was he was developing into the bounty hunter he becomes. So there's a lot to kind of explain, like, ultimately what people don't realize is, like, during this 90s series, it was in the like narrative that again, this was before the Star Wars trilogy came out. So there's a lot of speculation. Oh, what happens leading up to the New Hope, right? And there was a lot of speculation. I remember reading some scripts that were quote unquote like, I guess they were fan fiction or something, but um, it was kind of read and accepted that this could be potentially movie, like the movie outcome. But it was something like, I think it was a leaked script or something. But it was one where Obi-Wan, um, like Darth Vader thinks Obi-Wan has an affair with the woman he's in love with, which is Luke and Leia's mother, right? And at that point, we didn't know who this person was, but um, like Obi-Wan, that betrayal happens near like a fire, like a like a lava pit or something. And as they fight, Darth Vader falls into this pit and is badly burned. And Obi-Wan thinks he's dead and leaves him. But he ends up crawling out. And then he becomes Vader. And Vader's so intent on getting revenge, he enlists the help of Boba Fett. And the two of them just go around killing Jedis. Now that was the sort of the narrative I was given. Like, hey, these new Star Wars movies, the prequel, the quote unquote prequels, it's gonna be a lot of Jedi killing. It's gonna be a lot of Boba Fett and Darth Vader killing Jedis, right? Killing the Jedi Order. We never got that, and it's fine. But again, I think people forget, like, Boba Fett was as popular as Darth Vader. He was as popular as any character really in Star Wars. I mean, I don't know anybody who slept on Boba Fett. He was pretty much the cool character, from this entire series, who met sort of an unfortunate demise in Jedi. But then here comes Book of Boba Fett, and they revive him and they give him the series. And I thought Book of Boba Fett was actually really good. I don't think they did a terrible job, but for whatever reasons, it didn't get the character back into. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that now you had the Mandalorian, this shiny, younger, you know, he's a true Mandalore. So the fans just kind of like skipped out on Boba Fett and forgot about it. Anyway, Tamura Morrison basically told fans recently that Book of Boba Fett season 2 got shelved because of some comments he made. Apparently, he was like petitioning fans at a Comic Con to write Disney and Lucasfilm to demand a season 2. Apparently, the executives didn't like that for whatever reasons. Apparently, the ratings weren't as strong as they thought. And again, they had a new Boba Fett in The Mandalorian, so maybe it was like a phasing out of the old characters and a phasing in of sort of the Mandalorian lore, and you just can't have Boba Fett, this sort of wannabe Mandalorian, kind of in that mix. Doesn't really work. And anyway, that was kind of disappointing to see. But the fact that they're giving this sort of, I don't know, I just feel like there were a lot of news coverage of this statement by Tamura Morrison, which leads me to believe it's not in its own vacuum. I think there is potential for Book of Boba Fett to come back, especially if, again, there's going to be a lot of Star Wars stuff coming out. And with it, I think you'll need a character like Boba Fett to kind of be part of this, whether it's, post Jedi, whether it's, you know, Clone Wars era stuff. You're going to need Boba Fett in the universe as a being to be reckoned with. Like, he's there, right? He's someone worthy of, like, um, following and being part of a larger story, right? So I do hope whether it's Tamora Morrison or some other actor, they do need to continue the saga of Boba Fett. We can't just have Boba Fett be this memory. He has to maintain his presence until they give him like a bounty hunter's death, something cool at least. Like, you go out in a cool way. But yeah, love this book. It's a newsstand copy. Great cover art there as well. This I forget who the cover artist is. Looks like it's Cam Kennedy. There you go. Good, really nice Cam Kennedy art there. As our number 10. All right. Well, yeah, we got a huge trailer drop. In fact, I was thinking of going on and watching the trailer, just doing like a trailer reaction video, but I already had watched it, so the trailer reaction video would have just been this, acting essentially, because it would have been like rewatching it. But man, was it? I don't know. So there was some criticisms by the Disney cabal. I don't know who puts these criticisms out, but apparently a lot of people had issues with the fact that the suit, didn't even look green. There was no green in the trailer and all that. Just like nitpicking about stuff, and they were really making it out to be like, this looks like garbage and all that, which I don't know where they're getting that. This DC is cooking right now. DC is cooking Marvel in every which way, and this is more evidence. I think this Green Lantern series is going to be I think one of because first off, it's got language, it's going to have violence, it's not a kids targeted series, it's on HBO. I think it's really going to be a big hit, especially among comic book fans. And really, this entire top 10 list is going to be, we're going to kind of take a look, and I'm going to give you my predictions on, I think, what I expect is going to happen. This is, the clues are there. If you look at really what's been introduced by Gunn so far and where Gunn has projects kind of planned and outlined, I think we have a good idea of where Gunn wants to go eventually, because we have a little too many people on the puzzle board right now, on the chessboard. We got too many pieces on the chessboard. I think at some point we're going to see a focusing there. I think it's intentional, and I think we're going to build up toward I was mentioning it before, build up towards sort of like a Kingdom Come type story arc, and should be fun to see it come together. But now, again, it's my prediction, but I'm using the clues that have been given. I'm just going to walk you through my thought process and the books I think you should be targeting with what's to come. All right, so this great Alex Ross Green Lantern cover. This is just classic cover art here. Something you should just probably pick up because it's cool. But yeah, number 9 to get us started here. All right, so I've been showing off this book kind of consistently, but I think at some point, and this may be as soon as the next movie, I think you're going to see an expanded Justice Gang. You're going to see the Justice Gang now kind of really operating at full force, right? Um, Essentially, Maxwell Lord and Guy Gardner, and sort of this, you know, all the sort of the interior members we have right now. We have Hawk Girl, we have Metamorpho, we even have Mr. Terrific, right? Sort of core, but what you're going to see in the next, I think, installment is like an expanded core. And we already know, right? We already have confirmed Booster Gold is going to be there. Martian Manhunter is going to be there. Mr. Miracle is going to be there. And I would imagine Blue Beetle could just be there as well. Just like he's one of the guys they recruited. Any number of them, the more the merrier, right? They're probably going to have just like a big sort of outfit of people, and all of them aren't going to be necessarily hero material. You're going to see a lot of people kind of like they just let into the group because they've just got a loose definition of like hero. You're going to see a lot of people like Guy Gardner, right? Kind of just like, you know, they don't really have the right mindset to be a hero, right? They've just got a lot of power, but they don't have the right set of values, or maybe they're in it for the right reasons. But you're just going to see this big Justice Gang of heroes that aren't disciplined. They create a lot of collateral damage. They're a liability, right? So eventually, I think this is going to come to heads. So I think, this sort of 90s depiction of the Justice League, I think we can expect to see a little bit of that, right? Just sort of a group of people a group of heroes that kind of lack direction, kind of don't have the right intentions at heart. A lot of just sort of goofiness, like, yeah, just a lot of goofiness. A lot of people kind of, like comic relief type characters that are going to be introduced. So looking forward to that. And with that being said, I think you're also going to see, because, you've got these heroes now who are a liability. There's a lot of kind of a loose standard. It seems like there's a lot of metahumans, but you're going to start to see this kind of divergence of good and evil take place. And I think you're going to start to see the formations of the Legion of Doom, because we've got teased the Hall of Justice, the Justice League. So it only makes sense that we're going to get the Legion of Doom. And in fact, they got an actor, I think his name is Mars Elric or somebody, some German dude. Dude looks like he looks like Sinestro, dude. They did a perfect casting for the Sinestro guy. But yeah, we know Sinestro's there. We obviously can assume Deathstroke's going to be part of this at the end of the day. We know we have Luther. We know we have Brainiac in here somewhere. And yeah, Brainiac is right there. So we know, and there, I heard some whisperings of bringing Black Adam back. We know Joker's going to be there, right? If the Flash is there, you can expect Captain Cold to be there. You know, Wonder Woman, Cheetah. I mean, you're just going to see like each hero as they're introduced in the DCU. They're going to probably be introduced with their, arch enemy, their evil counterpart. And when those guys kind of group and get together, get the Legion of Doom. So some George Perez goodness here with Crisis on Infinite Earths #9, the villain cover here. Classic piece of cover art right there. The villains cover art. And yeah, that's something you can bank on, right? You're going to see some version of that. I think we also have the potential to see a battle along these lines. We know Lobo's coming to Supergirl, and what kind of role he'll play in the DCU remains to be seen, but I'm sure we can have at least one battle, Superman versus Lobo, Superman or Lobo versus Justice League. We'll see some form of that as well. So that is our number 7 book. This is our number 7 book, I think. Yeah, number 7, more Crypto. Crypto was teased as a puppy in the Supergirl trailer. I'm sure a lot of kids saw that or will see it played over and over and over again, and they're probably going to be like, Mom, I want to go see Supergirl, I want to see Crypto. And so Crypto is going to be the next thing that drags the kids to the theaters. And of course, we have Supergirl on deck. So really, we've got The Mandalorian coming up, Supergirl on deck, and then the Lantern series. I mean, it's a lot of kind of stacked stuff. And yeah, it should be fun to see it all play out. So yeah, I think Supergirl is going to be a big hit as well. So keeping that momentum going toward the second Superman movie should be exciting as a fan. All right. So I think the next thing we can expect is, well, I mean, we know she's coming, and there have been rumors, and in fact, all the people rumored to play the next Diana, most of them, I think, are like, I think there's a Brazilian actress, and I think there's also I think I want to say she's from Puerto Rico, but both actresses look phenomenal. I mean, really, you could put either of them in the role. I think they'd be fantastic. And I love Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, but these two women are really strikingly beautiful. and kind of have that, that the the warrior look about them. Um, so I think, yeah, if again, whoever they bring in to play Wonder Woman has to be fierce, has to be beautiful, um, and again, some of these like rumored castings, I'm all for. But yeah, this is my Brian Bowen Wonder Woman Zero. Absolute. Oh my God, look at that cover, man. Brian Bowen Wonder Woman. I'm sorry, just there's nothing better than Bowen Wonder Woman. I'm sorry, just it's a fact of life. All right, well, we're down to the last two books, and number 2 on the list. We're bringing some 90s goodness to you. Batman Adventures number 25. You got Mullet Superman and the 90s Batman Adventures Batman. Pulse in here. I just love this book, love this cover. But yeah, you can pretty much bank on a world's finest type introduction. I think we're going to see a first meeting. Superman and Batman have not met in this universe. That was made clear in the Gunn movie. And I think in the Gunn universe, I think again, 2 different cities. I'm sure they're aware of one another. I'm sure, Superman's aware of what Batman is doing in Gotham and vice versa. But they just haven't had the opportunity to kind of like clash or come to heads. I don't think they see each other as like a real threat. They probably see what each other is doing and perceive it to be like, okay, that's fine. They're both really focused on stopping bad guys, so it's not like they're it's not like they're at odds. So I think at some point though they are going to converge, and that I'm really looking forward to that, how that happens in this universe, to that first meeting, their relationship, and I anticipate it's going to be one where they work together, develop maybe adversarial at first, but eventually develop a fondness for one another and build a friendship. I really do want to see them work as partners and friends, develop a bond of trust where they share their identities, and it's that relationship like we see in the comics versus I think what a lot of people have assumed that they've always been enemies. They hate each other. No, that's not the reality of these 2 characters. So looking forward to that. All right, getting back to the theory of what we're going to see. This is my number 1 book. The reason I have it number 1 is because of what we were exposed to through the Lantern series. I really think what you're going to see is you're going to see a Justice Gang kind of out of control. We kind of saw hints of that with the clash between Superman and Guy Gardner. And Superman by himself, I don't think can take on the Justice Gang. But with the help of, let's say, a core group of characters like these ones, I think what you'll see is a real coming together of values and being like, even though they're quote unquote heroes, kind of like a kingdom come situation where the real heroes say, okay, enough is enough. We're going to shut you down and you're going to get the real Justice League forming with like, like maybe a code or um, a set of bylaws, right? So really think that's something we're going to see. So there you go. That's a top 10 this week. I'm just going to cut it short this weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday. So peace out, guys. Have a great weekend.